Hello everybody and welcome to the KMF channel. This is Kay Kritiques, a segment where we discuss all things South African television. So if you enjoy that type of content, please do subscribe, like the video and turn the post notifications on so you are alerted every single time a new video releases on the channel. Today we are discussing the Showmax original series Outlaws Season 1 Episode 6 to 12. These past 7 episodes have been a roller coaster, okay? The twists, the turns and the surprises that have been dropped on us, astonishing. Let's get into it. So in episode 5, we last left off where Bandile and Nosipho were on their way to look for Usifufane. Tlali gave them the wrong address. I thought that he would just deny him being Leruo, but Leruo actually identifies as Usifufane, as we find out later in the episodes. But at this point in time, Tlali gives them the wrong address and they kill the wrong Sifufane. But it was literally a massacre. They literally killed about 6 men in one night, and Usipho gets injured, but they manage to escape and go back, and Sihle is able to treat Siphomule's gunshot wound. Now the top 4, upon finding this out, they are anxious. They want to stop the raids because they are very scared that now AmaZulu are retaliating. Okay, so after this raid that Leruo went on, they decide, you know what, this was the last raid and we're going to use the money that we get right now to hold us over for a couple of months before we restart our operation again. Tlali is mad about his cut. He feels like he was shortchanged. He feels like he deserves more money because they are family. But Leruo is basically like, I have to pay the informants, I have to pay the police, I have to pay everybody, I have to pay myself, and I'm the one who found the buyer, so I feel like I deserve a bigger cut than everybody. And obviously Tlali is not gonna accept that. He decides that he wants to recruit other members of the gang so that they form their own gang and go out and raid more people so that they have more money for themselves. But obviously Tlali is just a lunatic. He's reckless, he is clueless, and he is very sloppy. He doesn't know how the operation works, he doesn't know anything, and it is found out because even his dad is now regretting actually encouraging him to go rogue, because he found out that he doesn't have an informant, he doesn't have a buyer, he doesn't know which farm they're gonna raid, he doesn't know anything, but he just wants to raid people and go on a killing spree. And that is gonna get them into trouble in the future, as we see where they go out and kill people in broad daylight. They're no longer going in the night to rob people of their cows, they're going during the day. They kill people and they end up getting into a shootout with the police, and one of their members dies during that shootout with the police. Now there's an uproar in Bergville because the farmers are scared because these people are now killing them. They're fearing for their lives, and also now their livelihood has been compromised because these raiders are stealing all their cattle, right? And they all go to Bandile to ask him to help. But now remember, Bandile had promised Nolwandle that he wasn't going to interfere or seek justice or retribution, which he did get in trouble for because he did go to Lesotho and they almost got killed. So he was in the doghouse with Nolwandle, so he didn't want to get involved in it. So he sent them away. He's like, I don't want to get involved. I promised my wife that I'm not going to get involved in this. So count me out. Leruo and Sihle meet again. Sihle is on her way to the house or the hospital. I don't quite remember where she was going. But then her car gets into an accident and she's stuck on the side of the road. Here comes our knight in shining armor, our Romeo, Leruo, and he rescues her. Leruo finally gets his bracelet back, which is the whole entire reason why he's been looking for Sihle, is for this bracelet. But obviously he wants other things. But yeah, let's get into that. So Sihle is busy giggling Every time, anything that Leruo says, she's giggling, she's shy, she's blushing. And I'm like, girl, you're engaged, remember? Leruo takes her to this waterfall where they have an intimate moment. And Sihle was able to say, you know what? Let's get out of here. I need to find a garage so that I can get my car fixed and go home, right? And when she finds the garage, Leruo's like, can I have your number? So that I can call you, make sure you're safe. But Sihle knew exactly why he wanted her number. And she still gave it to him. And the cute thing about it is that they're making Leruo out to be the sweet guy. And this is actually funny to me. This scene was so funny to me. Leruo was asking for the number, right? And Sihle's like, why do you want my number? And he's like, to make sure that you're home safe. And also in case your insurance was to call and I'm an eyewitness. Then Sihle goes, what do you know about insurance when you ride a horse? I don't know why that cracked me up. And then she's like, where's your phone? Let me put it in. And he's like, I don't have a phone. And then she's like, in all these blankets, you don't even have one pocket. Like, I rewinded that scene like 5 times. I don't know why. So she gives him a number. So this is the cute moment where Leruo memorizes the number. Like, they're making him seem to be this guy who's putting in the effort, who's paying attention to detail, and who's willing to go all out to court and woo Sihle. Like, he might not have like a lot of money like Kwanele, where he's able to take her to expensive restaurants and all these expensive hotels and getaways, but it's the little things that he's doing that are adding up to quantity of Kwanele's wooing. Him, he just throws money out and does all these things that are extravagant, but he lacks the detail in the little things, and which is why Leruo is a contender with Kwanele at this moment, because he's doing the little things, like paying attention to detail, asking her how she feels and making her feel special and loved in a way that does not involve money. Sihle keeps on having phone calls with Leruo even after she gets home. She now realizes what I'm doing is wrong. Like, I can't be sneaking off. Every time I'm answering the phone, I'm sneaking away. I have a fiance, but I keep on hiding this relationship that I have because it's wrong. And she decides to no longer answer Leruo's calls. For me, I knew that she still wanted him to have access to her, because why not block him? Like, why still answer his calls when he calls? So anyways, she goes to Kwanele and decides, you know what, Kwanele, I am ready for marriage. You can send your uncles to my father's gate, okay? They come to have the lobola negotiations. Now, these lobola negotiations were a mess because Uncle Emmanuel was just acting a damn fool. But Bandile ended up stepping in. The lobola negotiations go well after that. And now Bandile reprimands Sihle. He's like, you are now somebody's fiance. Basically, you're somebody's wife now. You can't wear pants. You can't do this. You can't walk around with your cornrows or your hair. You have to wear a doek. You have to wear a skirt. You have to dress a certain way. You are no longer Sihle Biyela. You now belong to Dlamini, and that puts pressure on her because now she feels like, do I not then have autonomy over my own body, and do I no longer own myself? I am now property that belongs to the Dlamini family, or what's the story? And in that weak moment, Leruo calls her. Now listen here, just had lobola paid for you, and when are you gonna answer this guy's call? And you're not only gonna do that, while she and Leruo are on the call, Leruo starts talking to her like, oh, when I saw you the other day, I wanted to kiss you, I wanted to do this to you, I wanted to do that. And he's basically saying like certain things to her. And then now she, like, we don't want to get into trouble with YouTube, so I'm just gonna say she was performing an act of self-love. And for me, I was judging her hard. Like, literally, I was judging her. I'm supporting you either way, but I'm judging you right now, because how are you doing this with an actual ring on your finger. And she only regretted it after she was finished. And then she saw the ring. And that's when it clicked. Oh, snap. I'm engaged to somebody. Like, girl, get out of here. She then feels guilty about it and decides not to answer Leruo's calls. She still hasn't blocked him. And I'm like, girl. Then Leruo finds out that Sihle is engaged from Phumzile. Phumzile is one of the most annoying characters on the show for me. Like, after Tlali, ke Phumzile. She tells Leruo, stay away from her. She's engaged to a good man, blah, blah, blah. And Leruo was literally so heartbroken to a point. Guys, umjolo. He literally went on a drinking spree. And then he tells his friend, just shoot me through the heart because I can handle a gunshot wound, but not this heartbreak. He then decides to go back to his ex-girlfriend, Unyakalo. And I'm like, girl, last week in the previous episodes, you need to do better for yourself. And then she tries, she's like, Leruo, what do you want here? Because when you have another woman, blah, blah, blah. And Leruo was like, baby, I want to marry you. I want to bring cows to your mother's house, blah, blah, blah. And then the girl accepts him back. And I'm like, why would you do that, girl? When has he ever kept a promise? When has he ever shown you that he loves you? Because she even knew, Gucci, you always come back to me when you just want sex. What would make you believe that this guy actually loves you enough to marry you when he hasn't made a commitment to you in all the years of knowing you? So then they get engaged. Moretlo was against it, but then she eventually agrees and goes and asks, when can we bring the cows? On this other hand, Sihle and Kwanele and his dad are discussing the matter of her changing her surname. So Kwanele and Sihle had discussed it prior to getting engaged that Sihle does not want to change her surname from Biyela to Dlamini. She wants to keep practicing with her maiden name. Obviously, Dumisani, who's the dad, disagrees with it. He's like, you're gonna change your surname, finish in Klar. You're a wife in this family, so you need to be a part of our family, blah, blah, blah. And Kwanele just sits there. That is what upsets Sihle. Kwanele just sits there and doesn't even try or even attempt to defend her and state their case or their argument against the father. She feels like, if he can't fight for me now, before we even married, what's gonna happen after we're married? It means, Uguti, I'm just gonna be taking a lot of stuff and I just have to roll with it because now I'm stuck with this guy forever. Like, the government is now involved in our relationship. She's second guessing herself and she takes to Leruo, I want to meet up with you. They meet up and they do the do. At the end of episode 10, we see the top 4 meeting up again. They're waiting for somebody. And who do we see show up at the meeting in Lesotho with the top 4? Dumisani Dlamini, who is Kwanele's dad. He has been working with the top 4 this entire time. Like in the previous review, if you haven't watched it, I'm going to link it in the cards up above. I had stated, I think that Bandile, Nomalum Emmanuel, are working with the top 4 and they're the ones who gave the top 4 inside information about Okameni Farm. Turns out it was literally Utumisani this whole entire time, and he has been pretending to be a best friend of the father. Meanwhile, he's the reason why the guy got killed. Oh my god, like I could not believe it. He has been working with them. He's their affiliate in KZN. That's how this operation is able to go on without them ever getting caught. Another thing now that we find out is that Udumisane and Moretlo, who's Leruo's mother, are literally sneaky linking. They are sleeping together, and that makes me think, is there a possibility that Leruo is Dumisane's son? That would mean Kwanele and Leruo are brothers. Like, a lot of drama is still on the way. Another thing, Kwanele knew that his dad is working with the top 4, and he also knew that his dad is the reason why Sihle's parents got murdered. Like whoever wrote the script deserves jail time, because why are they doing this? Like, there's some people out here, well, not me, but there were some people out here who were rooting for Kwanele, saying, oh, Kwanele is sweet, what. I feel like Kwanele shouldn't have known, because now that taints his character. Because it's like, okay, now who must we root for? Because now both Leruo and Kwanele are directly or indirectly responsible for the death of Sihle's parents. Like, who must we root for? Which ship must we get on? Which ship deserves to be canon between Kwanele and Leruo? So Sihle and Leruo decide that they are gonna break up with their respective partners. Leruo's gonna break up with Unyakalo, and Sihle's gonna break up with Kwanele, and then they are going to be together. Unyakalo goes bonkers because she's like, how can you humiliate me again? Like, you're always humiliating me. You're always making a fool out of me. Because they had broken up. Nyakalo had broken up with Leruo. Leruo chased after her saying, baby, I want to marry you. Now, her family, her uncles are literally on the way to Lesotho, come for the lobola negotiations. You're telling me that you're no longer coming to pay lobola because you're breaking up with me. Now, I'd be sick to my stomach if a man did that to me. Nyakalo didn't deserve that. Nyakalo didn't deserve that, and Leruo should not have gotten back together with her just because he was heartbroken about Sihle being engaged. When Unyakalo goes and conspires with Tlali on how they're gonna get back at Leruo, and that's also just gonna cause a huge mess in the end. Sihle decides to break up with Kwanele. She's like, I'm not living my truth. This is not my story. And I would like to say that I was right in my assumptions. I had said in the previous review of episode 1 to 5 that I feel like Sihle didn't really love Kwanele. It's just that they grew up together, they are family friends, and everybody kind of expected them to get together. That is why they were together, not because she actually loved him, trying to meet like her parents' expectations or her family's expectations. And she literally said that. So I was right in my assumption. Another thing that I also think, I don't think that Sihle and Leruo really love each other. I can't believe that Leruo might love Sihle, but Sihle doesn't love Leruo. Like, she was just using Leruo as a way to get out of her relationship with Kwanele. That's my opinion. But anyways, her family went bonkers when they found out that she wants to leave Kwanele. They call family meetings. They're like, Sihle, you cannot do this. We already accepted cows. If you feel like you're pressured to get married, then maybe you can hold off, but you can't leave Kwanele. He's such a good catch. Obviously, the two biggest gold diggers of the family are the ones who are pushing this marriage, whereas Bandile is trying his utmost best to defend Sihle, but Sihle doesn't want to tell him what the issue is. Why do you want to leave Kwanele? Like, just tell him and maybe he will understand. And lastly, with Bandile, he is just trying to protect his family. There are a lot of raids that are happening. Tlali has not given up. He's all over the place, just raiding any and every farmer. Bandile now is being elected as a leader to protect the other farmers in the area because he owns the biggest farm in the district or in the area, right? So everybody's looking to him for advice and leadership. He and Siphamule go to Lesotho to look for guns, and the scene was literally so funny to me. So then the Sutu guy's like, isn't your friend gonna greet us? And then he comes like, Nyantumel. Comedic moments in this series are timed so perfectly. Like, they will literally throw in a joke or two at the most serious moments or at moments that you don't expect, and it just lightens the mood a bit because there is a lot of killings, there is a lot of violence, so they just lighten the mood every now and again. So he now is the leader of the people in the Bergville, and I'm like, all these grown men are looking to him. Like, none of these people can find a solution on how to stop their farms from getting raided, how to protect themselves. Now the farmers are going overboard with the guns that Bandile got from Lesotho. They are now killing people. They're just going rampant, and a war is brewing. I feel like at the end of the season, there's going to be a huge war that's going to be going on between Amasuthu and Amazulu, and it's going to get nasty. That is episode 6 to 12 of Outlaws. My thoughts so far on the season is there's just so many twists, unexpected twists, and the conflict is rising. I cannot wait until Sihle finds all of this out, which it's gonna hurt her. She will literally be so heartbroken because all of the men that are involved in her life, other than Bandile, but all the men that are involved in her life are involved either directly or indirectly in her parents' death. Isani, who's supposed to be her father-in-law, is the one who actually gave up the information of Okabeni farm. He has been working with the people raiding farmers. Kwanele knew about it and didn't even warn her. Leruo is the leader of the raiders who actually were involved in the killing of her parents. She's gonna be so distraught. I don't think I'm ready for that emotional roller coaster that we're about to go on. But I am Team Sifufane all the way. Kwanele, for me, he never did it for me. And Usifufane just came out of nowhere. And I feel like they developed Leruo's character and Leruo and Sihle's relationship more than they did Kwanele's relationship with Sihle. Because if they had started with Kwanele and Sihle being so in love and them showing us their relationship, it would have made us question Sihle more, maybe. Of no, Sihle, stay with Kwanele, he's so sweet, he's this, he's that. But they didn't really develop that relationship thoroughly, so we don't really have an emotional attachment to Kwanele. Story writers want us to root for these people because of how it's written. So I'm Team Sifufane all the way. I feel like in the grand scheme of things, Leruo is the innocent person in this. First of all, I doubt that if he knew that Sihle is the daughter of the guy who was killed, that he would have pursued a relationship with her. And he did reprimand Tlali. They didn't know that Tlali had killed the farmers until he heard it on the radio station, and he was angry that happened. Like, as much as they are stealing, but he drew the line at murder. I mean, why am I even saying that? Stealing and murder, I feel like I've been predicting very wrong this season. Like Ututumisani, I did not expect him to be the one to be working with the top 4. So I feel like while he's in Lesotho, he's going to find out about Leruo and Sihle. Either him or Tlali is going to find out about Leruo and Sihle. And Tlali finding out about Leruo and Sihle is going to help him in his plan to bring him down, and also help with Nyakado's plan of bringing him down, right? And the war that is about to happen is going to put these people all on different sides, because Leruo is obviously going to have to be on his side. Amasuthu and Sihle obviously also wants vengeance for the people that are killing Amazulu. So it's just going to be a mess. And I have a feeling that this 2 million rand that Sihle's dad borrowed from Udumisani is gonna come back to haunt us. And I also want to find out what Udumisani meant when he was talking to Kwanele and saying, Guti, if you don't marry this girl, like, you need to woo Sihle and get her back, because I am not about to lose my farm over your guys' argument. I want to know, what does that mean? Does it mean that maybe he has a share? Like, if Sihle and Kwanele get married, then Udumisani or Kwanele gets a portion of Okabeni farm? Like, I really want to know, what does that mean? But yeah, those are my predictions for the rest of the season. Please do let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you are notified whenever a new video drops. And I will see you guys in the next video.